welcome to Megan Makes Cupcakes. Today I'll be teaching you how to make these donut cupcakes because other than cupcakes, donuts are one of my favorite treats, and today I'll be showing you how you can combine the two. So stay tuned and I'll walk you through it step by step. Okay, so to make these miniature donut cupcakes, you're going to need some sprinkles, some jelly of your choice. I'm using raspberry jelly. I have pink frosting with a star tip, but you can use whatever tip you like. I have this large tip right here to use for a cutter. I have a small flower cutter, an Applecorer, pink fondant, light brown fondant, some water, cupcakes, a fondant tool with a sharp edge. I have a brush used only for cakes and cupcakes, and a small rolling pin. I've also put some corn flour down on my board to keep the fondant from sticking. Let's get started. Okay, so you're going to want to get out your fondant, and we're going to start making the base of the donut with our light brown fondant. And as I said, I have some corn flour or cornstarch on my working surface here. We're just going to work the fondant just a little bit to get it softer and malleable. Okay, so we're just going to take this large piping tip and we're going to use it as a cutter, or if you have a small round cutter, that will also work. Alright, and then you can reform it, but it helps to keep them all around the same size if you use a cutter, and then you can reshape them to make them round again. There you go. Okay, so now we have all of our little donuts cut out, and we can take our pointer tool and we're just going to make a center right in the middle of the donut, and then you can just pop it through and then just push it through so that it doesn't warp the donut upwards, but it'll pull it down through the bottom, as you can see. And then we'll just flatten that out on the bottom and reshape the donut how we want it to look. Okay, so now we have our pink fondant out for the topping of the frosting, and we're just going to work it in our hands a little bit like we did with the other fondant, and we're just going to press it on to our floured or corn-floured surface. We're just going to roll it. What we're going to do is we're going to use our cutter right here, and then we're going to kind of work the edges to look like frosting would naturally fall on a donut. Just cut out one there and pop it out with our finger. And then I'm just going to kind of spread it a little more. And then you can take either a knife, or I have a small, it's actually a fabric cutter, and just kind of cut little edges out so it looks like it's naturally falling down the side of the donut. I think that's pretty good. And now we're just going to take it off. We're going to use a little bit of our water. And we're just going to put that down so that it sticks nicely. Alright, and now we're going to use our pointer tool again, and we're going to poke a hole once again through our frosting. Gotta have a hole in a donut. And then we can just use our paintbrush once again to make our fondant sticky. You don't want to use too much, otherwise it will not really help. It will just kind of drown out the fondant, but just a little bit. And then you can pour out some sprinkles and kind of place them however you like. Okay, so we've added all our sprinkles on top of the frosting, and our little donut is adorable and ready to go. So we'll set that to the side. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a little doily for our donut. So just roll this out. A little thicker than we rolled out our frosting, but not too thick either. Okay, and then we're just going to use our scalloped cutter to cut out our doily. And then I'm going to use this fondant tool I have. It's actually a clay tool, but I'm using it for fondant, and we're just going to poke little holes all around the edge of our scalloped piece of fondant to give it a doily type appearance. Okay, so now that we have our doily finished, we can take our donut and we're just going to add a little bit of water on the bottom to secure it. You don't want to add too much, otherwise it will actually have the opposite effect. So we're just going to wiggle it down. And now we can take our cupcakes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a jelly filling to kind of be like a donut, and I'm using my apple cutter and I'm just plunging down the middle of the cupcake and pulling out, and you can see it creates a nice little hole in there. Okay, and now we're just going to take our jelly filling. I'm using raspberry and I have it in a Ziploc bag, and then I'm just going to make a little bit of room to cut a hole, and then you can just insert the jelly filling until it's level. Now we can take our jelly filled cupcake and we're just going to frost the top of that. Perfect. And then if you like, you can just add some sprinkles to the top. And then we'll add our finished doily and donut on top. And there you have your own donut cupcake with a jelly-filled center. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Tell me what your favorite kind of donut is in the comments sections below.